This video is going to talk about how to use the trip history information to be able to view vehicles' past data that is collected over time. The first thing you're going to do is click on the Map menu tab, and then you can go up and click on Trip History to then take you to the new screen. The next thing that the system is going to do is ask you to select a vehicle. In this case, I'll pull up a vehicle from my list, and it's going to automatically generate a list of all of the stops that this vehicle has traveled for today. And you'll notice you have the option here to actually change the time parameter that you might be looking for. Maybe you want to back up a day, a week. You could even use a custom time parameter. This actually is very helpful if you're trying to narrow down your time. If you have a vehicle that makes a lot of stops in a given time period, maybe in a single day, maybe there's 50 stops that are happening, you could actually narrow down the time and say between the hours of 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. show me all of those stops. It might be actually a faster way to see some of this data. In this case, we're going to look at just one day. If I wanted to back up and look at yesterday, there's also a little arrow button I can use to back up and keep backing up one day at a time. I can move forward if I'm back in the past. Different options to be able to view some of this. The first thing you'll notice is there's a list of all of these different addresses here, as well as we are looking at the times on how these vehicles are traveling. Now, I read this report backwards a little bit. I like to look at the distance traveled first, how long the driving time took, if there was any idling time, and then how long they were stopped for. And then I can also see the time associated. You will also note that the system has the first line item grayed out. This tells you that that was the last stop this vehicle made for the day previous, which would then take you overnight into where the vehicle left from this morning to make their first stop. So technically their first stop that they actually make is the second line item on this list. At any point I can also see if there are any violations that maybe a vehicle has incurred as the vehicle has moved. So in this case I can see maybe they have a check engine light on, or maybe there is an unauthorized device removal, speeding, seatbelt. Just a really easy idea to tell you if there's anything else happening there. You'll also notice that there might stack up some additional triangles if there's multiple rules versus maybe only having one rule that's turned on. A couple different items there. Now, if you want to go through and actually see on the map how the vehicle traveled to get from point A to point B, you can just select any one of these addresses here on the left-hand side. And now I'm going to be able to view the exact route the vehicle traveled. In this case, I'm just looking at this on a map view. I can move to a satellite view and see the exact road the vehicle traveled on. And I can hover my cursor over this at any point to understand the rate of speed the vehicle is traveling, the date, the time, as well as the posted speed limit. This will be helpful as I continue to move along. I can identify if there's any changes that happen. I can start to notice there might be a speed limit change or the rate of speed of the vehicle. A lot of different things that are happening here. So I can turn this on. I can turn this off. I'll go down and find another one here, maybe where we have some additional items happening. So now I can see another route that's taking place. Might be a little hard to view with the satellite, so I'm actually going to turn the satellite off and turn the map back on. Might make it a little easier for me to see since this route is showing up in green. I can zoom in a little bit tighter, and I can see some areas where maybe there's some additional behavior happening. Harsh cornering, maybe there's braking. If there's going to be a speeding violation or a seatbelt violation, the portion of the actual route would show up in highlighted red to show you that there's a violation happening over that stretch of time or distance. You'll also notice the little white triangles on the map. These are showing you the actual route in terms of direction of travel that the vehicle moved, as well as it's also showing you the GPS ping locations as the vehicle is moving along the way, so you can see exactly how often it's pinging for that location. A couple of different options here depending on what you want. If I want to turn on every stop, I can go ahead and just click on the name of this vehicle and it will turn on every stop this vehicle has made with the route, all on one map. You'll also notice all of my stops on the left are all highlighted as well. You'll notice on the actual map portion that everything is kind of going back and forth. They're doing a lot of backtracking, so you'll see arrows going in opposite directions. It's pretty common, but at least it gives you an idea to understand how this vehicle is traveling. Pretty easy to see there. If I want to turn them all off, I can click on the vehicle name again and it turns off everything. The one thing to keep in mind is that if you do turn on a location, in this case we'll just pick one of these, and I back up one day, it will still keep that on. So if you are constantly moving around and trying to find a different location and then you keep adjusting your date parameter, and you're looking for different items and you can't remember exactly what date it was that you turned on versus when you turned things off, and you just want to clear everything all at once, the best way to do that is to actually go up to the map and click on Clear Map. It will turn off everything for that vehicle that was turned on, and then all you have to do is maybe go back and sort for the current day that you're looking for. Just an easy way to be able to turn everything off if things get a little congested. So what I will do is I will turn all these off, and I'll show you another option here. When you're looking at any one of these different line items for how these vehicles are traveling, you'll notice in this case all of them are just roughly giving me an address. In this case, since it's part of the National Forest, I'm not really getting a real true street number. But in either case, if I ever have a zone that is listed that a vehicle travels to and actually stops inside of, that zone name will actually show up on the report on the left-hand side with that naming convention, so I can see the zone name listed. I also have the option to go and look at the speed graph, which I will actually have another video talking about that. So that way you can actually reference the amount of speed traveled versus the posted speed limit for that trip. You can take this information and pull it into a report view, which is more of a default view, or an advanced view. And then once you've selected either the report view or maybe the advanced view, this is a great way for you to get a really detailed report on all the stops that a vehicle might make. And then I can export to either PDF or an Excel document, obviously leaving all the map route information behind. But this is a really great tabular format that you can use. So the last thing that I will remind you of is that you always have the option to go and access our online chat support session. We have trainers that are always available here along with our technical support reps. This is a great place for you to be able to go in and actually communicate with our trainers or our support reps on questions that you might have, gaining more information, or maybe you just want to schedule a training event. You know, I'm looking for next week, and I'm trying to schedule something between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Can I make a schedule with someone? A lot of different options there. This is also a really great tool to get some quick answers. So don't ever forget that live support option is always there for you.